shows for free a week. But if you want to support the channel, there are a few ways of doing it. Hit the like button on each live broadcast or video. This helps the channel grow. Hit the subscribe button and select the all notifications options. Hit the thanks button to buy a super sticker. You can do this on the live chat too. You can also join our Patreon page or buy us a coffee at the link in all of our video descriptions below. We are also looking for sponsors. If you want our latest advertising rates and how you can get involved, then email John at nufcmatters1892@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Good evening, welcome to NUFC Matters. It is Thursday night, 6 o'clock, which means it's time to welcome back Supermac and Gibbo. Good evening, chaps.
Hi, guys. Steve, hi, John.
Good to see you. And I will be keeping my beady eye on the Champions League draw. Newcastle United, of course, playing in the competition this year. So far, 4 teams out the pot. Barcelona at home, PSG away, Leverkusen away, and Benfica at home is who Newcastle will be facing in the Champions League.
It sounds like a puddle, and there's teams yet to come. Are they the really strong ones, Steve?
Yeah, it's a crazy. Well, it's a league now, so we don't play. We don't play these teams home and away. We play them either at home or away. It's such a confusing thing.
How many actually go on further in the competition?
Out of the 36 teams, John, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it 18?
Yes.
Yes, half the teams go.
Half the teams go through, right?
You've got to finish in that top part of the league. It's a league, and I think because it's the Champions. It's a Champions League. It's a good idea. I mean, for me, it should still just be champions. It should still just be champions, of course, but that's for another day. But I will keep you up to date.
Some cracking matches, though. Bye.
It's great. It's great for fans when you read through that, lads. Honestly, when you read through that, as a fan who will be going to the games home and away, to be able to say that I'm going to go back for a Bobby Robson derby at St James's Park, and those memories of Tino getting the hat trick is going to be fantastic. PSG, of course, who Newcastle hammered in their last outing in the Champions League.
Oh, that was amazing. 4-1, wasn't it?
And we've got something to put right there as well away from home. But that's a huge game. They are one of the best teams in the world at this moment in time. Leverkusen, a trip to Germany for the lads. We all know that lads on their away trips enjoy a nice pint. When you can get bigger pints in Germany than you can get in the big market. And Benfica, of course, all kinds of memories. I mean, a lot of lads tend to go on golf trips out to Portugal these days, me included. And I genuinely think that, that again is a great trip. So, unless you're 100% dedicated and get a chance to go, and lucky enough, we're getting tickets for all those games. Yes. You've got a chance of going to some great games there.
Absolutely. And also that's the true Stadium of Light.
Yes, it is. Yeah. The other one begins with S. I can't remember what the word is, though. We'll not go into that. Yeah, that's right. Great stuff. Okay, good to have you back. And can I just say thank you to everybody who took the time to post a comment in the comment section on last week's show. Everyone was delighted to see Malcolm back, and Malcolm, I know you're that.
Well, that's very kind.
Pleases you massively. Yeah. Excellent. Great stuff. Okay, let's look back at the match. And what a game it was, Mal. I mean, you played in a wonderful game, which still, everybody still talks about your home debut against Liverpool with that wonderful hat trick. And from our perspective, it was another huge game for Newcastle. And So much to talk about. Oh, by the way, Union SG away is our next team that's come out of the pot. So there is a team which I know little about. So Union SG will be one that people will be searching the maps for. But yeah, Mal, what did you make of that game? You were there. You were highlighted on Sky as well. There's Malcolm McDonald just after Alan Shearer.
Yes. I finished up feeling quite angry about it because I thought that I thought Newcastle were absolutely tremendous in the first half. I really did. But you cannot have so much possession, be so on top, and have so many chances and not stick the ball in the net. And the more it went on, without Newcastle scoring, chance after chance went begging. That I just felt that we won't win this game. We're not going to win this game because if we don't take chances, then all it's doing is encouraging Liverpool. And I felt, in all honesty, I felt that the team selection was wrong. I felt playing Gordon up front just doesn't work. And not only that, the fact it doesn't work, it's frustrating for him because he's such a damn good left winger. Leave him there to do damage. The right back must have thought, I'm pleased he's not playing outside left tonight. And so you could see the frustration building in him because he just can't get his runs happening for him in the centre forward position. And in the end, he goes and makes an absolutely horrible tackle. And I think it was all out of frustration. Play him outside left. There was a centre forward who came on, Osula, and stuck the ball in the net late on. Great. Play him. He will do better than Gordon will all day long because he's used to playing in that position. He might not be the greatest number 9 in the world. He might not be all that good in comparison to the rest of the Premiership, but he's better than Gordon in that position. And I think now there is no choice but for him to continue in the centre forward position. And I think that we need to, first of all, get team selection absolutely right for the job in hand. And at the same time, dare I go on to the last few minutes of the game?
We've got breaking news, Mal. Sorry to interrupt you, but Nick Voltmad, God, these kind of things, pronunciations, etc., always difficult to confirm, but I'm sure he'll do it when he gets here. Nick Voltmad, what is his surname? How is it spelt? It's spelled Woltemade. Anyway, the deal has been agreed between Newcastle United and Stuttgart. The Germany striker is en route to Newcastle for his medical. A fee expected to be in the region of £85 million. So Newcastle have done their business. Newcastle have done their business quite quietly. When everyone thinks they're looking at a striker from Wolverhampton Wanderers, Newcastle have been doing their business in Germany, and that is absolutely amazing news because he is a top-notch striker, which I would imagine would mean that the road for Alexander Isak to Anfield is probably now wide open. But we will wait and see. That's a breaking news story from Craig Hope.
But will Liverpool pay the money that Newcastle are expecting? That's the big question mark, and I'm not so sure that they will. But
They've got
John,
they've
when-
got to
when-
go for him though, because they've made such a song and dance. They've
Yeah.
set the whole thing up. They've bid 110. They'll not bid 150, but Newcastle will accept less than 150, but just a little bit less. But especially as they've got, if they get this guy. Mind you,
Breaking news on Sky now, John, as well. So I
Yeah.
mean, this isn't just
Oh,
a,
yeah,
this
yeah,
isn't
that's
this isn't
gonna-
a.
that's gonna
He's
happen.
actually en route to undergo his medical in the next 24 hours.
Good. We still need to get a second striker. I mean, he will replace Isak will go through now. Liverpool will pay a little bit more than the original bid of 110. He's a pain in the backside to us because of the stance he's taken. He really has. I have never in 7 decades of following Newcastle been so disappointed with the attitude of a player as I have by Isak. And quite frankly, I was a wonderful admirer of Isak because I think he's got silky skills, but he's shown a side of him that I don't like at all. He's got absolutely horrible people as his agents who have caused this sort of chaos before at many clubs, going way back over 10 years to they did it with Modric when he left Spurs to go to Real Madrid. They had made him kick up dust and do everything he could to get the transfer. That's the way they operate. I'm sick to death of him. I want him out the club, but we had to get somebody good in to get him out the club.
Yes.
This now will be fait accompli. He'll go there. And by the way, I'll forecast now, Malcolm, in 2 years' time, Isak will do to Liverpool what he's just done to Newcastle when Real Madrid or Barcelona come in from at Liverpool. He'll go and strike at Liverpool and he'll go over there. He's 25. There's still time for that to happen. That's the way he operates. And as good as he is, I'd rather have him out the door. What I'm concerned about is that we still get a backup guy because Callum Wilson's out to this fella. Whether that backup guy is the Wolves guy or Wissa, I want to get a second striker because really Isak out and this guy in is just the same thing as we had last season. One striker. And that one striker will be this new guy. It's too late for this guy to play at Leeds on Saturday because he will not be registered in time. So it will be a Sula on Saturday and then he'll play after that. But I'm still wanting to get a second striker, whether it's a big lad from Wolves or Wissa, we've got to get a second striker. Otherwise, we operate in the Champions League this season with one striker, the new guy, and no backup. We need a second striker.
Yeah. I totally agree, John. But I'm just absolutely staggered that this fella has suddenly appeared out of the blue, and the deal's all agreed and done. Brilliant.
Yes, I know. It's quite staggering. I mean, this business about Lawson at Wolves and that's not pie in the sky. They made 2 bids. I mean, it is on record. Wolves have admitted that Newcastle have made those 2 bids, etc., etc. But that doesn't mean that all the time they weren't looking at the German guy as well, because I think they could see Lawson or Wissa when they've been trying to get both as the Callum Wilson replacement, and this guy as the Isak replacement. So I don't think it means we won't make another offer in Wolves or we won't pursue the Wissa thing if we're given the opportunity. But those 2 clubs are resisting us because they don't want to sell. Ironically, the 2 players are desperate to come, but they don't want to sell. Right. But this guy is a replacement for Isak. And that will trigger the fact that because once Newcastle sent Rubin and other people from the Saudis to Isak's house and got the reaction of Isak, which was total indifference. Off you go, good night. I'm not changing my mind. Once that happened with the chairman already here at the match against Liverpool, the chairman thought, right, he has said, go out and get this guy in Germany, pay the top dollar and let's get rid of this guy because he's becoming a pain in the backside to us. And it's obvious from the face-to-face they had at his house that he would be stroppy come September the 2nd. So get him out. And I'm pleased, and I never thought I would say this when Isak was in top form because I loved him dearly, but I'm pleased to see the back of him with the attitude he's got. And let's get somebody in that actually cares about the badge.
Yeah, John, you're absolutely right. There was no way back for him.
No.
Even with the other, just with the players in the dressing room, they wouldn't trust him ever again.
Malcolm, I don't know how anybody can trust him. Do you think he'll not do this again? I mean, he tried to get out of Dortmund by Borussia Dortmund by rattling cages.
The one thing, I said this last week and I'll say it over and over again, but the one thing that a footballer must always do is play. You
Absolutely.
must play. You can have all the rucks you like with the manager, with the club, with the chairman, with whoever you want, but when you're being paid to play, you must play. And that's what so disappointed me and bloody well annoyed me with regards to Isak. And I've had all the time in the world for it up until now. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm totally with you, John. Get him out the door. Who wants him with his attitude? I just wonder, though, whether Newcastle are going to have a bit of a problem. Having signed this guy from Germany, and it's obvious that he's going to be first choice forward, trying to get somebody else in is going to be difficult. It should have been the other way round. But okay, beggars at the moment can't be choosers. So whether I would, if I were being targeted by Newcastle to join them, having seen this fella signed already, I'd be saying, well, am I going to be playing in the first team?
But I do think, Malcolm, and I take that point, but I think always when they've gone for these guys, Wiss has always known, for example, that he's seen at Newcastle United as a replacement for Callum Wilson. They've told him that, and that's been the situation. They were hoping that he would play with Isak, and they can move the situation so one of them plays as a 10. This new guy plays 10 brilliantly, this new guy. Mm-hmm. So if Isak scores goals, he can play 9 and this guy can play 10.
Well,
they would have to change the format a little bit, Malcolm, from the way they played last season. And also, Malcolm, there's 4 competitions we're in this year.
Yeah.
You're going to get a chance. I mean, look, Jacob Ramsey come to us knowing that he wasn't in the starting 3 in midfield because we've got 3 internationals. But he's thought and Newcastle sold him the idea of coming here. We're in 4 competitions, we're in the Champions League, etc. You're going to get loads of chances. You come on against Liverpool and he will start at Leeds. And it's only the 3rd game of the season, and already Ramsey's starting at Leeds because Tonali's going to be out and Joe Linton's going to be out. Yeah. So Ramsey will play at Leeds. So there's going to be plenty of opportunities. And we always knew he was coming here as the Callum Wilson man. So his attitude won't change because this fella's signed. But of course, there's a big difference. I mean, he wants to come. The Wolves guy wants to come, Lawson, but whether we get them because both clubs don't want to sell.
Right.
Yeah.
Just going back to the match against Liverpool, one thing I really didn't understand and I got quite annoyed about it. Late on, we've got back with 10 men to 2-0, from 2-0 to 2 each. And so, hey, we've got a point. We're denying 2 points to Liverpool, and yet going into added time, we're still flooding forward. And it finishes up that Liverpool go and nick one in the last minute of added time. And there were so many Newcastle players who were attacking at the time, and Newcastle are left short at the back when there's just a couple of minutes to go. And I thought that it was absolute amateurish.
That was the one thing that upset me, Malcolm. I thought we were.
Yeah.
I thought Liverpool will never be so lucky as they were in that game to be winners when they were 11 playing 10. I mean, we outplayed them in the first half. As you said, Malcolm, we didn't score. We know why we didn't score, because we hadn't a centre forward. If we'd had a centre forward, we would have won at Aston Villa and we would have beaten Liverpool.
Yes, we would. I couldn't agree more, John.
And therefore, we were 1 down. We got this sending off was crazy. We were second half. We were 2-0 down, 10 men against 11, playing the Premier League champions, and we got back to 2-2, and they were hanging on. But what did we do, Malcolm? We got so carried away with the emotion, we start chasing pieces of paper floating around the park. We were like a little puppy dog, when you see them in the park, there's a paper and it's running around them, charging the paper. I mean, if you looked, you're absolutely right. If you look at the goal, 100th minute, and we were 2-2 with the champions with 10 men, and everybody got sucked over to that left side. So when Saha crossed the ball, there was a magnificent dummy from one of their players just in front of our goal that let the ball run to the kid outside him. And that wasn't, you would think the kid had BO. There wasn't anybody within 100 yards of him.
He was in an acre of space.
Oh, the dummy made the goal.
Yeah.
The guy with the dummy did nothing. The ball was crossed by Saha and it was put in by the young lad. But the dummy was how the goal came about. If the guy hadn't done the dummy but tried to get a shot in, it might have been saved. But the dummy opened it up completely for the kid. And it was heartbreaking, because why I found it heartbreaking above anything else, I looked at the players that played in that game for us, and they deserved something out of it, because they cared so passionately about Newcastle United, unlike the person that didn't bother playing. They cared so passionately about us, and they battled so hard, even when 2-0 down with 10 men against 11, and they battled so hard at Aston Villa. And I just hope they gets a victory at Leeds at the 1, and then we go into the break, and we've got this new fella coming in, and then we take off after the break. But I would love them to get the result they deserve to get at Leeds, because it will be without the new guy. And then we go into the break and we start again when the fixture starts.
Absolutely, John. The number of chances that have been created and just gone begging. As a centre forward, you know, if the fellas sort of just had a check up on how Newcastle are playing, he would have been looking at all of that, going, "Gee whiz, I'll get a hat trick every game.
Yeah, I'll come and sign for them." I mean, to be truthful, Malcolm, it didn't surprise you or me that there was a hatful of chances at Aston Villa and a hatful of chances against Liverpool, and we didn't take them. I know we scored 2 in the second half against Liverpool, and that was because Bruno was so Captain Bruno on the day. The size of a frying pan, doing everything, and a chance fell to Wasula, and he put it away. Well done him as a boy, because he'll have to play on Saturday at Leeds. But we can't go with Wasula. for the rest of the season. We won't have to now, but we can't because he's as raw as a steak. When you buy the steak from the butcher's, he's as raw as that. Whether he's got potential or not, he's got pace, he's got physicality, he can do the centre of the pitch job, but he's not a Champions League centre forward.
He's quick, and he's really, really quick, John.
But so is Usain Bolt, but I don't want him to play for Newcastle.
Right, yeah, but I'm not sure that he knows. Excuse me. I'm not sure that he knows just how to use that pace and when to use it.
Absolutely. So we've been desperate. I'm so delighted the news has broken while we're on air, but I'm so delighted because I am sick to death of Isak. Get him out. Quite frankly, I don't know why Liverpool need him when they've got Hugo Ekitike. I think they would need a centre-half or full-backs a lot more than they need another centre-forward, to be truthful, but that's their problem.
Yeah.
That's their problem. But I feel so let down by Isak that just let him go, get this new guy in. This new guy, if he said straight away he's coming to Newcastle, he's going to care. And if we get either the guy at Wolves or Wissa as the backup, they're desperate to come here, so they're going to care. And we've seen how much the rest of them care because of the amount of work they put in at Aston Villa and Liverpool. So we'll be back to a band of brothers, and we needed that. And Isak is anything but that. And that's he's a wonderfully, wonderfully talented man. But what's between his ears, I am so disappointed with. I don't think
Johnny's not talented sitting on his settee at home at 3:00 in the afternoon on
not
a Saturday.
For us, no.
No, definitely not. Okay, I think we've had a good chat there about the game. We don't need to dwell on it. It was 3 points lost for me, and Newcastle dominated that game from start to finish. And had it not been for Gordon getting sent off, who knows what would have happened. But it's in the past now. In the second half of the show, we will have a look ahead to the Champions League. I've got the full draw, which I'll share with the lads. And we'll also look ahead to the game against Leeds on Saturday. Quick ad break, back after this. A big thanks to all our sponsors, Skips and Bins. You can find them at their website, skipsandbins.com. Contact them at www.skipsandbins.com/contact. Say hello to low-cost waste disposal with pay-as-you-go and contract waste management. A big thanks to Mr. Vicky's Sauces, handmade in Cumbria. You can find them at their website, mrvickies.co.uk. Email info@mrvickies.co.uk or telephone 01768 210 102. Thanks to our fanzine sponsor, United Group Travel. There are no strangers on our tours, just friends you haven't met yet. 2 crew driver and courier, local family company, 3-star plus quality hotels and no interchanges. Hot and cold snacks and drinks available on the coach, all excursions included. Their website, unitedgrouptravel.com. Email beverly.ugtl@gmail.com. Telephone 01670 632 460 or 0791 666 4174. Just £30 per person deposit. Thanks to Media Arts for all the help with the technical side of things. And if you like listening to us as a podcast, you can go to Sports Social Podcast Network or to iTunes, Spotify, or other podcast providers. If you want to support the show, then hit the subscribe button. It's free. We do 7 shows a week. Hit the little thumb up under the video, which is the like button, or click share to share to your social media. You can also join the channel on YouTube by hitting the join button for as little as $1.99 a month. If you want to become an NUFC Matters member, you can go to nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk. It's a £25 one-off fee. You get your pen, you get your badge, key ring, you get your beer mat and your fridge magnet and your membership card, nufcmatterspodcast.co.uk for that. And we have an event early next year, 13th of February 2026, an evening with Beardsley, Waddle and Gascoigne takes place at the Tyne Theatre and Opera House. To buy your tickets for that event, go to the box office 0191 243 1171 or Tyne Theatre and Opera House.uk. And don't forget, 3 days left to subscribe to your NUFC Matters fanzine. All proceeds from this go to Age UK North Tyneside Dementia. £25 for 4 issues, which includes your postage for all 4 issues. Obviously, there's an international rate if you live abroad. But just go to the website. I have pinned it in the chat, nufcmatters.co.uk. It'd be nice if we can get to 100 subscriptions, and that means we'll probably be able to donate around about £2,500. So please jump on the website if you haven't already. 3 days left to do that. Okay, let's get back to the Champions League draw. Here it is, lads, in full. Newcastle United's 25-26 Champions League fixtures are Barcelona at home, PSG away, Bayer Leverkusen away, Benfica at home, Marseille away, PSV at home, Atletico Bilbao, and Union SG away. So that's from the Chronicle Live, John. I think if we just work that out, 1, 2,
Atletico
3.
Bilbao will be at home. Steve.
It'll be at home. I was just counting the teams there. Yes, it'll be at home.
Yeah,
so,
it'll be at home.
I mean, that, John, what a draw that is. And I mean, you know, listen, it's a league now. It's not a group which then goes into the knockout stages. It's a league. You've got to finish as high up as you can in the league. And the Champions League really is about, A, for Newcastle, I guess, money, but B, it's about, you know, for the fans, you know, the fans, you know, get this opportunity now to go. You know, some young fans won't have dreamt of these kind of fixtures, but PSG away, Bayer Leverkusen away, Marseille away, and Union SG, which is in Belgium, away. So all great European trips, all trips which are quite, dare I say, a little bit easier to get to than some of the places we've been to in the 90s. That's a great draw for me, John. I'm literally really excited about that, mate.
Yeah, I love it. I think you're absolutely right, Steve. There's always going to be the way it was. You got drawn against 2 sides out of each pot, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So pot 1, which produced Barcelona and PSG, they were the heavyweight pot. Real Madrid, everybody else in there. We can't get the English clubs in there, so it was always going to be the 2 sides we got, or probably Real Madrid. So they were going to be tough, and then you carry on down the pot. But you look at it, and I think the 2 real heavyweights we got, Barcelona and PSG. Well, I've sat in St James's Park and watched we beat both of them. I watched we beat Barcelona 3-2 with a hat trick from Asprilla, and of course we all saw the 4-1 with Paris Saint-Germain, which was absolutely wonderful. So, you know, both can be beatable, though Paris Saint-Germain away will be different this year to what it was 2 years ago. I felt, guys, 2 years ago that it was full of Galacticos, the superstars. I thought Mbappe was an absolute disgrace. At that time, he was looking to get away from Paris Saint-Germain, and he's now got his transfer, of course. And so I felt he didn't try a leg. I watched him and said, I thought Isak didn't try a leg last season on occasions. This guy certainly didn't try a leg at St James's when they were done 4-1. But this is a different Paris Saint-Germain side now. They've just won the European Cup. They're full of enthusiastic, wonderful young superstars who are bursting blood vessels for them. It'll be wonderful to see that. Barca's always Barca. Leverkusen we've had before. Was it Schola? I remember playing again. I think we beat Leverkusen home and away with Bobby Robson. Benfica, the right stadium of light. The other one, I don't know where it is, but Imposters somewhere along the line leaps to mind. But this is the original one. I think it's Fandabaldozi, and I think it's exactly what we're about. And you know what's given me the greatest lift? Not that draw, guys, but we're going to actually have a centre forward that's going to try. Isn't that wonderful? We're going to actually play. Because I tell you what, before that news come through, we were going to have either Sula, bless him, Gordon, bless him, or nobody. Because Isak would have gone out there if he'd been forced to, and he would have run about. But basically not where the ball was, because that's his mindset now. So I've got to lift by the draw. I've got to lift by the fact that we're playing Bradford City in defence of the Carabao Cup, and I've got to lift out of having a centre forward. So at the moment, it's turned out to be quite a nice day. The sun's been out.
Malcolm, the Champions League draw. It's quite a task. But listen, anyone's got a chance. You know, you've got to be in it to win it.
Yes, and just the very name of the competition, Champions League, it tells you that you're playing all the top sides. So that there's no use going into any game with fear. You've got to go in with confidence and a belief in yourself that you can go and win. And as John rightly said, and I was at the two same games that he mentioned, the Barcelona one, I think that, my word, that must have been what, John? I'm trying
Barcelona,
to think. Yeah, Barcelona. It was about.
It was back in the 90s, late 90s, I think, Malcolm. What the season it was,
20
man.
years.
Over. Oh, yes,
really?
it was back in the 90s. It was
97, 98, lads.
Kevin Keegan had just left, and
Kenny Dalglish was the manager.
Dalglish was here. We went 3-0 up with a Chino hat-trick. Gillespie was the top provider. Then they come one back and got two, but we saw out the game at 3-2. We've played Barcelona other times in the Champions League, and I don't want to talk about them because we didn't get a result. But that was the wonderful one. Like we'll always talk about Paris Saint-Germain 4-1. But I tell you what, guys, Paris Saint-Germain away. But the year we got 4-1 a couple of years back, we went to Paris Saint-Germain and we're leading 1-0 in the 96th minute, and they only got an equaliser for a 1-1 draw, if you remember, Steve.
Yeah, certainly do. Craig Hope as well, reporting that Newcastle are still chasing the other two strikers that we've obviously shown.
That's what I said, Steve, didn't I? That's what I said to you when you mentioned it. It's nothing to do with them. This guy's to replace Isak. Those two guys were to replace Callum Wilson. Obviously, only one of those two would come in, not two of them. And it might be that we don't get either because the clubs are resisting so heavily. But it might be we get one. And if we get one of them two, plus this kid, we're cooking on gas, mate. If we get that, we're cooking on gas. And Isak, I'll drive him as his taxi driver to Liverpool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fascinating. One of those shows which news keeps breaking almost intermittently. It's but yeah, if you've just come into the house, there's your Champions League draw. Barcelona at home, PSG away, Bayer Leverkusen away, Benfica at home, Marseille away, PSV at home, Athletic Bilbao at home, and Union SG away. And if anybody is unsure where that is, it is Belgium. We have Googled it to check. So, quite an impressive.
It's got to be said as well, Steve. It's got to be said for people that might be just seeing that for the first time. That is not the order of games. We don't start with those two horrible big-time games. On Saturday, we'll hear what order these games come in. They won't be released till Saturday. That was the way the pots were drawn, but it's not the way the fixtures will run. We won't start with having to play Barca and Paris Saint-Germain to start with. We don't want them both to start with, do we? We might have no points by the time we go on the other. I'm not suggesting that for 1 minute, but it's possible. We could have 6 points. But what I'm meaning is that's not going to be the order. That's the game, but it's not going to be the order. The order of the fixtures and the dates will be released on Saturday.
Volta is how we pronounce it. Thank you, Ian, for that. And apparently Union SG Stadium, according to Lord Blackadder, only holds 9,000. So there'll be
That's all right. We can slap them in front of 9,000. That's no problem.
There'll be clamour for those tickets. Cumbrian Mag says, is Malcolm disappointed that we haven't gone back in for Chris Wood?
I was hoping you wouldn't mention that. I mean, it
wasn't me.
And all of a sudden we're depressed because we haven't got Chris Wood and we've got this other guy. You've got a habit of bringing us down, Steve.
People miss
Yes,
asking Malcolm this question, you
I have
see.
to say, he's getting goals. Nottingham Forest are amazing me that they're doing so well with the actual team that they've got. And yeah, he's scoring goals where he never looked as if he was going to score a goal for Newcastle. Just never looked capable whatsoever.
Malcolm, he got 4 in 2 seasons, and he
In 2
played centre
seasons,
forward.
yeah. He was utterly incapable. But the way Nottingham Forest are playing, it seems to suit him. He's never going to shine as a footballer itself, but he's getting goals. So good luck to him.
Well, Steve, what I've heard, and I want to have a word with Steve here. What I've heard is that Steve is secretly enrolled with the Nottingham Forest Supporters Club because he's such a fan of Chris Wood, and it is masquerading as a black and whiter from now on in. And I would just like to, I would like him to confirm or deny that rumor.
I'm just going to turn things around slightly, John. I do want to ask you this. I don't want to put Malcolm on the spot, but I want to ask you as a journalist, who still writes for the Evening Chronicle. This is a little bugbear of mine and a few of the people who are watching the show. This is about tributes to players who've passed away. And in the last 6 months, John, or last 7 months, we've lost 2 great legends from an era which Malcolm knows well, you know well. And of course, I'm talking about John Tudor, who's a good friend of both of yours. But more recently, I'm talking about Wyn Davies, who passed away when you guys were having a little sabbatical. Now, the club don't do a round of applause anymore. And this has really upset a few fans, especially fans who remember those 2 great players, John. We seem to do a tribute now in the programme or on the website or on social media. And I find that a bit galling because we celebrate our legends when they're alive, but the one thing that everybody does when we go home and when we go away to grounds, when someone's passed away, even sometimes a club official who maybe most fans don't even know, there's a round of applause. I've already done it this season at a ground. So for me, John, I think the club needs to revisit this, but I'd love to see whether the Chronicle or the media could put some pressure on the club or at least highlight it.
I'm glad you've come up with that point, Steve, because it is really a bugbear with me. And okay, it might be because of my age, and a lot of my dear friends have passed away in recent times, from Hibby a long while ago, to John Tudor, to Tommy Cass, to Big John McNamee, and then Wyn Davies. And I hate it when clubs, but especially my club, show a total disregard for history. Sometimes that's due to new owners, but that is not an excuse. That is not good enough. I love Bob Monkey desperately. He's a good friend of mine, has been all my life. I go through his autobiography. I look to Bob and I think, you're still within the club. Bob, can you go and rattle somebody's door and say to them, by the way, the centre forward that played in my side that won the first cup, Wyn Davies, has died. Could we just acknowledge it? Fans love this guy, etc. I'm not putting it on Bob. Bob shouldn't have to do that. But I'm wanting somebody to do it because the club are ignoring all this sort of thing. Now, may I just knock this on a little bit, Steve? We've been talking about Isak, and Isak has killed his legacy stone dead by the way he has been recently. Now, I'll tell you something. Centre forwards can leave Newcastle and still be loved. And by the way, we've got one of them on screen here. Malcolm McDonald, absolutely adored because he left in the right way for Arsenal. Les Ferdinand left in the right way. But today was the funeral of Wyn Davies. He left Newcastle United to sign for another big club, Manchester City, and then went on to Manchester United. Is he hated because he did that? Not at all. He's loved because of what he did for Newcastle and because he didn't leave in the wrong way. Malcolm didn't leave in the wrong way. Les Ferdinand didn't leave in the wrong way. Peter Beardsley didn't leave in the wrong way. Now, how much is Wyn Davies loved? There was several Newcastle United die-hard fans left Tyneside at 5 a.m. this morning to go to Wyn Davies' funeral in Carnarvon. How far away is that? With a huge wreath, black and white, with number 9 in the middle of it. That's how much Wyn Davies is loved by Newcastle fans old enough to remember him play.
Sure.
And that is something that Isak should feel ashamed of, that he just readily put that sort of love in the dustbin. That's the sort of love that Wyn Davies had, the sort of love Malcolm McDonald's got, the sort of love Les Ferdinand's got, the sort of
because Wyn Davies, myself, and others, we've been in exactly the same situation as Isak. Well,
Yes.
Albeit he was the one that wanted to go and was seeking to instigate the move, whereas I think Joe Harvey he was planning to switch the forward line from Davis and Robson
Correct.
to myself and John Tudor, and so it was a big change, but nobody was falling out about it. You know,
Correct.
everybody is able to maintain their reputation. Isak has completely and utterly destroyed his.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But Steve, the point you made, Steve, and I would like to come back to it because it was the point you made, and I went off at a tangent a little bit. Our club, which is so close to all of our hearts and will always remain so, please will you not ignore the past. When superstar players pass away, realize your fans, the Newcastle United fans, want to pay tribute to them. And unless you have a situation where there's a minute's applause, and I'm all for that rather than a minute's silence, because you sometimes get horrible things happen in a minute's silence, which happened with the Crystal Palace fans with Diogo Jota, which you just, please, let's not have that. So make it a minute's applause so that all the trolls can't get the moment of alleged glory. Let's have a minute's applause. But please, I want to remember the stars. Newcastle United fans want to. And the youngins, you know, they've heard from their dad about John Tudor. They've heard about Tommy Cassidy. They've heard about Wyn Davies. These aren't minor figures in our history. These are major figures in our history. These aren't guys that's played 3 games for the first team. These are guys that were the pillars of the first team. Let us remember them the way they deserve to be remembered. I get passionate and write no bits about these guys because all my love for them comes pouring out. I'm just the same as every other Newcastle fan. It happens with every other Newcastle fan. Let's have those moments. It is insensitive not to.
Yeah, good stuff. Maybe it's time for the fans forum or the FAB or whatever it's called to step in, and maybe the Newcastle United Supporters Trust could maybe put something to the club. Just somebody with the ear of the club maybe putting this together. But as each legend passes, for me, it becomes more evident that what would it cost for the fans to be able to just pay respect? It just takes whoever the stadium announcer is to say, sadly, we lost this player this week. We've done it for years. Why change it? Whose idea was it to change that? Whose idea was it?
Yeah, John and I in the press room at Newcastle, we know a guy who is absolutely black and white crazy. He works for the club, and if Newcastle United just brought him in and said, "We want you to make note of all the events to old players and what have you," he'd love to do it, and and then he could, for the club, put on a whatever it is that they wish to do.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
guy's there.
Absolutely right. You're right, Malcolm. And that's the situation. You know what it is? Small things make great people, and small
Yes.
things make
Yeah.
great clubs.
Sure.
Please do not turn our back on history. I mean, we've had the big song and dance about St James's Park, keeping it called St James's Park, keeping the ground there because they've been there for 130 years. That's to do with history. We're trying to retain our history. So let us acknowledge the legends of this club throughout the time. And these are the people that have been legends and will remain legends. And all right, I'm not having a go, but maybe Saudis don't realize that. Maybe other people don't realize that. But somebody's got to tell them, hey, history of matters to Newcastle United supporters, because by Jove, you know why it matters? Because for a long time we've had little else. So history does matter to us. And
That's right.
We are very proud of people who have served us well, which is the exact reason why we're not very proud of Alexander Isak, because he hasn't served us well.
No.
Served us well in the time that he was committed to the club with the goals that he scored, but he's let himself down massively.
That doesn't matter. You've got to have more. You've got to have more than that for me, Steve. This is just me. The goals were magnificent, but I tell you what, every one of them for me now, sadly, is tarnished. And if anybody brings up the old podcasts of what we are doing now, the three of us, they'll hear me waxing lyrical about Isak week after week. A year ago, week after week, I thought he was one of the most wonderful players to watch. I thought he was silky smooth. He was Thierry Henry. He was everything. He was absolute hero material to me. But I'm sorry. However good you are, don't wipe your hands with the club badge.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, as an old pro in the game, the fact that Isak has been taking his wages and sitting on his backside at home when the team is out and playing, I cannot tolerate that.
Can I say, Malcolm, to you, can I say that? Is there any other profession? Would you, Steve, would any Newcastle United fan get their full wages if they refuse to go to work?
Yeah.
No. It is outrageous.
Yeah, in any profession, it just wouldn't happen, would it?
It's outrageous.
Yeah.
It is absolutely outrageous.
Certainly is. For those of you who just tuned in, Walter Marder is on his way to Newcastle for a medical. Newcastle have finally managed to solve at least one of those transfer issues up front. Another one, or maybe another two, could still be done. Craig Hope of the Daily Mail reporting that Newcastle are still trying to tie down deals for Wissa from Brentford and Larson from Wolves. Watch this space.
I think Steve will settle for one of the two. I think the club will settle for. I don't think there's, even if they could do it, I don't think they would sign both.
No, I agree.
It's one or the other. It's one.
Looking at the physicality of the players as well, you would expect it to be Wissa, not Larson now.
Yeah, it could well be. It's neither, and that is a worry because we would. If it's neither, and Isak goes out and this boy comes in, we're in the same position as last season. We're going into a full season with one centre forward, Malcolm. That is, we were talking about that being risky last season. With Champions League football this season, it is horrendously risky. We need two. But well done, Newcastle, because I think they've had a good summer. I have hammered Newcastle this summer and said we've been poor in the transfer market. But all of a sudden, we've come good. We've signed a goalkeeper. We've signed a centre-half. We've signed a midfielder. We've signed an outside right. We've now signed a centre-forward or a 10. If we can get one more through the door, unbelievably, considering how sluggishly slow we were at the start and how many knockbacks we got at the start.
Yeah.
It will have been a good, if we can get Wissa through the door, it will be a good transfer window.
Yeah. 1,700 watching live. Quite a few of you watching on Twitter. Please move on to YouTube, search NUFC Matters, hit the subscribe button. We do 7 shows a week. Let's look ahead quickly to Newcastle's next fixture, which is Leeds United away. It's a 5:30 kickoff. It is live on Sky Sports. As always, the away end is sold out. Team news, where we know that Anthony Gordon begins his suspension after his dismissal against Liverpool. There are injury doubts over Sandro Tonali and Joe Linton, although early indications seem to suggest that neither injury is as serious as they thought it was after the game. Fabian Schär serves a one-match concussion suspension, if you like. He will be sitting this one out as well. As for Leeds United, well, familiar face, Sean Longstaff is preparing to face his former club for the first time since making his summer switch to Leeds. The midfielder has come off the bench in both Premier League games so far this season. Another former Magpie at Leeds is Carl Darlow, but he hasn't played this season. The referee is Peter Banks. His last game in charge of a Newcastle fixture was at St James's Park in April, and that was the 2-1 match against Brentford. And on VAR, it'll be Jared Gillette. Don't forget, though, if you aren't going to the game, you can watch it live on Sky Sports. So, Malcolm, a draw against Villa, a narrow defeat against Liverpool. Now we go to Leeds. Be great to get our first win there, Malcolm. How do you think this one's going to go?
Yeah, and it's time to get on a bit of a winning run, I think. And quite simply, the first game, loads of chances, didn't score. Against Liverpool in the first half an hour, loads of chances, didn't score. So we know what the problem is. It's loud and clear. And so if we can put that right, albeit the new signing, he's not going to be available against Leeds. That's a shame. But it's it's a huge encouragement, the fact that he has signed, for everybody to get going on the pitch. So I fancy Newcastle to they're going to have to run their socks off to achieve this, but I think that that they will take the 3 points, and it wouldn't surprise me if they don't concede at all. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 victory.
Yeah, I'm going 2-0 as well. What about you, John?
Yeah, I think this is a great chance for us. 1 point out of 6 has got to become 4 out of 9. The players that played in those 2 matches deserve it to be, because they were magnificent and they showed camaraderie and team spirit and togetherness in the face of the Isak situation magnificently. We will have as many as 5 players out there, because Isak's obviously out, Gordon's obviously out, Shaw's out because of concussion, and I don't expect Tonali or Joe Linton to make it, which is a huge blow, because 2 out of 3 in midfield is a blow. Yes, Miley can sit in and do an adequate job with one Ramsey to come in and hit the ground running. Chow can do the job that Shaw did. Usula will have to play up front. There's an outside chance this guy could be signed into Rochester in time. I think it's lunchtime tomorrow. But would we really throw him in when he hasn't even shook hands with any players yet? I would doubt it very, very much. I think we'll go with Usula and we'll look at this guy for the future. Leeds, yeah, everybody says, it's a bear pit, the crowd's up for it and all this sort of thing. I tell you what, Leeds have just come up. And any team that's just come up is automatically favourites to go straight back down these days.
Yeah.
If we are going to fear Leeds, what the heck are we going to do when Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain come round? I mean, let's Get rid of this with fear Leeds. You kidding me or what? We're in the Champions League. We're the Carabao Cup holders. I don't care if we have 5 changes or whatever. We can tuck these babies up, and we have to tuck them up. And
Yes.
I hope we tuck them up because we deserve it on what the players have done. I hope the players sit tonight and tomorrow night and they look and say, hey, we're defending the Carabao Cup and we've got Bradford City at home. That's lovely. We've had the European draw and we've got some lovely ties. We've got some winnable ones and we've got some glamour ones. We've got a centre forward flying in as we speak. We're going to Leeds. We might just be on a roll here, you know. We might just, after a horrendous summer, be on a roll. Newcastle to win.
Prediction, John, have you got a goal scoring prediction?
2-0.
2-0, we've all gone 2-0. Fingers crossed that happens. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Back tomorrow at 5 o'clock with the amigos. John and Malcolm will be back next Thursday at 6 o'clock. Great to have you on, lads. Take care. Have a good weekend.
Take care, guys.